Did you know that in most American refrigerators, there's something that looks harmless, but quietly pushes your blood pressure higher every single day? I'm talking about processed cheese, those shiny orange slices wrapped in plastic, or the smooth spreads we often smear on a sandwich. It's convenient, it's tasty, and it's been a part of quick lunches for generations. But the truth is that cheese isn't really cheese at all. It's more of a laboratory creation than a natural dairy product. Just one tiny slice can contain more than 300 milligrams of sodium. I've seen many of my patients eat just 2 slices in a simple sandwich, and without realizing it, they've already taken in nearly 1/3 of their recommended daily salt intake. One of my patients, Mr. Reynolds, 68, once told me, "Doctor, I only eat a few slices of cheese with bread at lunch. I didn't think it mattered." But when we checked, his blood pressure stayed above the safe range, especially at night. And that's exactly when the blood vessels should be resting. Instead, the extra salt and saturated fat were making his arteries stiff, quietly raising his risk of stroke. Have you ever wondered how a small daily habit at the table can quietly shape the future of your health? Science shows that after age 60, our blood vessels aren't as flexible as they used to be. Every extra pinch of salt, every bit of saturated fat, is like dropping a pebble into a jar. Sooner or later it fills up, and the result can be a sudden, unexpected stroke. Now, I'm not saying you have to give up cheese completely. I understand. It carries childhood memories and family moments. But I do want you to pause and consider, is today's convenience worth tomorrow's risk? Choosing a more natural cheese, lower in sodium and additives, is a simple way to give your heart and brain many more years of peace. And you know, processed cheese is only part of the story. There's another kind I'm sure many of us grew up with: American cheese. Those golden slices that melt perfectly over a hot burger or on your morning toast. It sounds familiar, even comforting, doesn't it? But the truth is, what we call American cheese isn't cheese in the traditional sense. It's an industrial product, made from milk, whey, emulsifiers, coloring, and a long list of additives to keep it smooth and easy to melt. The price of that perfection is high sodium, plenty of saturated fat, and additives that can inflame blood vessels. I remember Mrs. Helen, 72, who loved starting her mornings with a slice of American cheese melting over fried eggs. But then, she started forgetting little things. Did she turn off the stove? Where did she leave her keys? She thought it was just aging. But tests showed her brain's blood vessels had signs of chronic inflammation, partly from years of a diet loaded with salt and additives. And science is clear. Inflammation in the blood vessels doesn't just weaken the arteries, making them more fragile. It also contributes to memory loss and heart disease. The scary part is that it happens silently, without warning, until the complications arrive. Have you ever wondered why a food so tied to convenience and family memories could quietly turn into a hidden enemy of your health? I'm not telling you to cut it out completely, but remember this. Every melted slice of American cheese, beyond its creamy taste, may be like a drop of oil feeding the silent fire of inflammation in your blood vessels. And that fire, if left unchecked, will slowly burn away your health. And if American cheese is the symbol of industrialization, then on the opposite side, blue cheese is seen as the refinement of fine dining. That marbled look, that strong flavor, it's often considered a luxury on the table, especially paired with wine or sprinkled over a salad. But here's what most people don't realize. The very thing that makes it taste so unique carries a hidden risk. Blue cheese is made with a special type of mold that produces a compound called tyramine. For younger people, the body may handle it, but after age 60, when our arteries are less flexible and blood pressure is more unstable, tyramine acts like a lit match. Just a small bite can send blood pressure soaring. I remember Mr. Walter, 66, a patient who proudly called himself a food connoisseur. He loved piling blue cheese on his salads, saying it made him feel classy. But one evening, right after such a meal, he was struck by a sudden, pounding headache and dizziness. He ended up in the emergency room. The diagnosis? A hypertensive crisis. Thankfully, it stopped short of a stroke. Science shows that tyramine can trigger vessel spasms, spiking blood pressure in an instant. For someone already on blood pressure medication, or with weakened arteries, that one bite could be the last straw. Have you ever felt dizzy or had a pounding headache after a cheese-heavy meal? Many people think it's just the wine or being tired, but sometimes the real culprit is blue cheese, and there's more. Beyond tyramine, blue cheese is also loaded with saturated fat, the kind that raises cholesterol and speeds up plaque buildup in the arteries. That means it can hit you in two ways at once, spiking your blood pressure and narrowing your vessels, a dangerous double blow to the heart and brain as we age. So no, I'm not saying you can never touch it again. I know some people truly enjoy it, but I do want you to think carefully. Is that slice of blue cheese at a dinner party really worth gambling with the health of your arteries and your memory? And while cream cheese shows up in our light morning breakfasts, Parmesan quietly finds its way into lunch and dinner, sprinkled over pasta, salads, or soups. Just a few golden shavings, hardly noticeable. But sometimes it's those little extras that end up putting the heaviest burden on our blood vessels. Parmesan gets its rich, bold flavor from years of aging, but that same process leaves it packed with sodium. Just 2 small spoonfuls can take up 15–20% of the salt you're supposed to have for the entire day. For someone over 60, with arteries that aren't as flexible as they used to be, every pinch of excess salt is like laying another brick on top of the shoulders of your arteries. And one day, under all that weight, they may simply give out. I still remember Mr. Thomas, 70, a man who truly loved Italian food. He often told me, "Doctor, pasta without Parmesan just isn't pasta." But when we checked his health, his blood pressure was swinging dangerously high, and his tests showed early signs of kidney decline, the result of years of eating too much salt. He was shocked. The very salty, savory flavor he loved was slowly wearing down his health bit by bit. Have you ever asked yourself, what turns a delicious dish into a hidden trap? It's not the flavor, it's the familiarity. Because it feels so normal, we rarely question it. But your body never forgets. Every time your blood vessels strain under salt, every time your heart works harder to push blood through stiffened arteries, it's a silent reminder. It's time to change now. You don't have to give up Parmesan altogether. But instead of sprinkling it on thick like you used to, try cutting it in half. Or swap some of it for herbs, a drizzle of olive oil, or a few crushed nuts. It will still taste wonderful, but it will be much gentler on your heart. And if Parmesan brings to mind rich Italian dinners, Brie carries the image of elegance and refinement at the table. Soft, creamy, with that buttery aroma, just one bite melting on the tongue can feel like a taste of France. But behind that smooth white rind and delicate flavor lies a hidden risk for the heart. Brie is high in saturated fat. A little here and there may seem harmless, but when that habit repeats week after week, month after month, the bad cholesterol, LDL, gradually builds up, sticking to artery walls like layers of grime in an old pipe. And over time, the flow of blood narrows, putting greater strain on the heart and brain. I once had a patient, Mrs. Evelyn, 69, who loved having Brie with crackers at her social gatherings. She believed, a little bit won't hurt. But her test showed her cholesterol was over the safe limit, with LDL levels climbing high. She was stunned. How could something so soft and delicate be dangerous? But that very underestimation meant she had to begin cholesterol-lowering treatment right away. Do you see yourself in this story? Sometimes the greatest danger isn't the single slice of cheese, it's the repetition, the way we dismiss its impact. After 60, our bodies simply don't handle things the way they once did. Every small choice at the table carries a much heavier weight. Enjoy Brie in moderation, treating it as a special gift instead of a weekly routine. That's how you protect your heart and your brain from the silent burden of cholesterol. And after talking about the cheeses that can quietly harm the heart, let me share some good news. Not all cheeses are bad. In fact, some are like companions on the journey, delicious and nourishing for the heart and brain, especially after 60. The first name I want to share with you is ricotta. Ricotta is a soft, white, light cheese made from whey, the liquid left over after other cheeses are made. What's special is that whey is rich in high-quality protein, easy for the body to absorb, and excellent for keeping muscles strong and helping them recover. You see, as we age, our muscles naturally lose mass. That loss of strength is one of the reasons so many older adults become unsteady on their feet and more prone to falls. And keeping muscles strong is also a way of protecting the heart. I remember Mrs. Linda, 65, who used to tell me how tired she felt, even short of breath, just walking up a flight of stairs. I suggested she try swapping her morning cream cheese for ricotta, spread on whole grain bread with a drizzle of honey and a few walnuts. Just a few months later, she told me she felt stronger. Her blood pressure was steady, her muscles were firmer, and she had the confidence to walk each morning in the park with her friends. The picture I want you to see is this. A small change, switching from a cheese heavy in saturated fat to gentle ricotta, can make a huge difference for your arteries and overall health. Ricotta is also low in sodium and rich in calcium, which helps blood vessels stay flexible, lowering the risk of those sudden nighttime spikes in blood pressure. You can try it tomorrow morning. A slice of whole grain bread, a smooth layer of ricotta, and a few slices of fresh fruit. Still delicious, still comforting like cream cheese once was, but this time, it's a joy that's safe for your heart and your brain. If ricotta brings a sense of lightness, then the next companion is just as worth adding to your daily meals: cottage cheese. Simple, humble, but far more powerful for heart and brain health than most people realize. Unlike some strong-smelling cheeses, cottage cheese is mild, soft, and easy to eat. But don't let that simplicity fool you. Inside is a rich supply of casein protein, a slow-digesting protein that helps keep your blood sugar steady for hours. For older adults, that stability is critical, because sudden spikes and crashes in blood sugar can quickly damage fragile blood vessels. I recall Mr. Richard, 67, who often complained of feeling sluggish and foggy after his usual breakfast of pastries and coffee. I encouraged him to try a change: a small bowl of cottage cheese with berries and a sprinkle of flax seeds. Just a few weeks later, he told me he no longer felt wiped out mid-morning. Instead, his mind was clearer and his energy steady, and it doesn't stop there. Cottage cheese also provides vitamin B12 and selenium, two vital nutrients that protect nerve cells and the delicate lining of your blood vessels. Selenium, in particular, is a powerful antioxidant. Think of it as armor, shielding your arteries from the silent attack of free radicals, the very culprits that accelerate aging and raise the risk of stroke. Imagine this: just one small bowl of cottage cheese each day not only satisfies hunger, but also quietly works to patch up and protect the thin inner walls of your blood vessels. So, if you're looking for a light, easy-to-digest food that's kind to both your heart and your brain, give cottage cheese a chance. That simple change may reward you with many more years of clarity, strength, and health. After talking about cottage cheese, simple yet packed with nutrients, I want to introduce you to another option: gentle on the stomach, but powerful for the memory. I'm talking about goat cheese. Now, many of us may not be used to its slightly tangy, creamy flavor, but that very difference brings a big advantage. Goat cheese is much easier to digest than cheeses made from cow's milk because it contains less lactose. And as we age, our digestive systems become more sensitive. Sometimes just one heavy, hard-to-digest meal can leave us bloated and uncomfortable all day. Goat cheese helps take that burden away. But its real strength isn't just in being easy on the stomach. Goat cheese is rich in MCTs, medium-chain fats that your body quickly turns into energy for the brain. In other words, every bite doesn't just nourish your body. It also fuels the mind with clean energy for memory and alertness. I remember Mr. Daniel, 71, who told me, "Doctor, I forget things so easily. Sometimes I stop mid-sentence because I can't remember what I was about to say." When we adjusted his diet and added a little goat cheese to his weekly salads, after a few months he noticed a difference. He felt sharper, with fewer lost train of thought moments. Science has shown the same. MCTs support brain function, especially in older adults. Goat cheese is also rich in calcium and phosphorus, keeping both bones and blood vessels strong. On top of that, it contains natural prebiotics that feed the healthy bacteria in your gut. And you know what that means? A healthy gut reduces inflammation throughout the body, which quietly lowers the risks of heart disease and stroke. You can start simply. Sprinkle a little goat cheese over roasted vegetables, or spread a thin layer on whole grain bread. It's light, it's tasty, and it gives your brain and heart steady protection. And after goat cheese, easy to digest and nourishing for the memory, I want to share another heart and gut-friendly choice. Fresh mozzarella. This is not the shredded mozzarella in a supermarket bag. Fresh mozzarella usually comes as soft white balls stored in water. It may look plain, but it's one of the safest cheeses for your heart after age 60. Fresh mozzarella is much lower in sodium compared to most other cheeses, often under 200 milligrams per small serving. That makes a huge difference, because stable blood pressure is the strongest defense against stroke. I've seen many patients lower their blood pressure simply by cutting back on salt without needing more medication. But mozzarella's benefits go beyond just being lower in salt. It also contains natural probiotics, healthy bacteria. And while probiotics are often thought of as just for digestion, the truth is that our gut and blood vessels are deeply connected. A healthy gut reduces overall inflammation, protecting your arteries from damage. You can picture it this way. When your gut is well nourished, your blood vessels are gently cleansed and renewed from the inside. I remember Mrs. Clara, 70, who struggled with high blood pressure and often felt bloated after meals. When I suggested she replace her salty, hard cheeses with fresh mozzarella, paired with tomatoes and olive oil, just a few weeks later, she felt the difference. Her blood pressure was steadier, her digestion lighter, and most importantly, she told me her spirit felt calmer, more at ease. Her simple caprese salad, with ripe tomatoes, slices of fresh mozzarella, a drizzle of olive oil and a few basil leaves, is more than just a taste of summer in Italy. It's also a gentle medicine for your heart and your digestion. After fresh mozzarella, with its light flavor and natural probiotics, I want to share another cheese that has long been part of the Mediterranean tradition and is especially kind to the heart. Feta, Greek cheese. Unlike many rich, heavy cheeses, feta is soft, slightly salty with a gentle tang. What's important is that its saltiness comes from natural brining, so you only need a small amount to flavor an entire dish. That matters deeply after age 60, when managing salt becomes one of the most important keys to stable blood pressure. I remember Mr. George, one of my Greek patients. He loved his traditional Greek salad, with tomatoes, cucumbers, olives, and just a sprinkle of feta on top. He would smile and say, "Doctor, you don't need much. A little feta makes the whole dish complete." And his health proved the wisdom of that habit. Steady blood pressure, safe cholesterol and flexible arteries even well into his 70s. Feta is also lower in fat than many cheeses, while still providing enough calcium and protein to support strong bones and muscles. And as you may know, the Mediterranean diet, so well known for protecting the heart, almost always includes feta as a gentle, flavorful part of the meal. You can try it simply. Crumble a little feta on roasted vegetables or sprinkle it lightly over a bowl of soup. Just a small piece can enrich the flavor without reaching for the salt shaker. It's a subtle way to enjoy food while protecting both your heart and your brain. If feta carries the breath of the Mediterranean, then Swiss cheese brings to mind those golden slices with neat round holes, often found in sandwiches or melted into a traditional fondue. But what makes Swiss cheese valuable isn't only the taste, it's the nutrition that supports both heart and mind. Swiss cheese is rich in calcium, not just for strong bones, but also for keeping blood vessels flexible. It's also high in vitamin B12, which is vital for the nervous system and for making red blood cells. Among older adults, B12 deficiency is common and can lead to fatigue, memory problems, even tingling in the hands and feet. Just a few slices of Swiss cheese can help fill that gap. And here's what sets Swiss cheese apart from cheddar. It's much lower in sodium. For anyone watching blood pressure, that difference is powerful. Less salt means less strain on the heart, less pressure on blood vessels that may already be stiffening with age. I think of Mr. Patrick, 74, who switched from cheddar to Swiss cheese on my advice. With a smile, he told me, "It's still delicious, still flavorful, but I feel better knowing it's easier on my heart." And indeed, 6 months later, his blood pressure was steadier, and his cholesterol levels had improved. You might try Swiss cheese in a lunchtime sandwich, or thinly sliced alongside fresh fruit. It's still full of flavor, but it's a wiser choice for your heart and your memory. You see, not all cheeses are the same. Some, like processed cheese, American cheese, blue cheese, cream cheese, Parmesan or Brie, quietly stiffen arteries, raise cholesterol, and put you at risk for stroke. But others, like ricotta, cottage cheese, goat cheese, fresh mozzarella, feta, and Swiss cheese, can be gentle friends, supporting your heart and mind. The real issue isn't whether you eat cheese, it's which kind you choose and how you enjoy it. Every choice you make at the table, no matter how small, is like casting a vote for the future of your health. I remember one patient who told me, "Doctor, I never imagined just switching from a few slices of processed cheese to ricotta could make such a difference in how I feel." And I believe you'll notice that change too, if you're willing to start today. My friend, turning 60 or 70 is not the end. It's a new chapter, a time to live slower, wiser, and yes, more joyfully. Changing just one slice of cheese in your sandwich, adding one healthier choice to your breakfast. These may seem small, but in truth, they're ways of writing longer, safer, brighter pages in the story of your life. And so I'll leave you with one question. Tomorrow, when you open your refrigerator, which slice of cheese will you choose to nourish your heart and your memory?